Hey, welcome back to Radio Taiwan International. You're listening to Geek Out. What's your cup of tea? Tickles your fancy or floats your boat? Join us as we share passions from people in Taiwan and around the world. I'm your guest host, Amanda Stevens, and today in the studio we have your regular host, Michelle Chiang.
Reverse hosting today.
Reverse. How's it feel? Weird.
It's always weird.
It's always weird.
Because I host this show because I'm a jack of all trades, right? I love to talk about a lot of different things.
I think that's the episode I heard you last reverse host on.
Yeah.
Was someone talking to you about being a jack of all trades.
Yeah. So I have so many interests and hobbies that it's fun to talk with so many other people. But I sometimes want to be in the question seat. So.
I understand this from the point of view of somebody else who also has a show about a topic that I really like. I occasionally get like the inspiration that I want to talk about something, and I need somebody to talk to me.
For you.
Yeah, to help me share my inspiration with the world. So on that topic, what are we geeking out about today, Michelle?
Well, I very recently came back from a trip to Thailand. And it was very clear to me, if it, it wasn't clear before, it was definitely clear before, that I am the mom in my friend groups, all of them.
I thought that it was because we all did you hosted the Thanksgiving dinner.
That's part of it, too.
And you said, like, thank you, everyone, you gave a wonderful speech. Thank you, everyone, for being my found family. So that way we would be able to skip the go around, say one thing you're grateful for. And I shouted out, like, thanks for being the mom with the found family. I thought that's what started it. I thought it was going to be that you were like, I got to talk about that. That was just, that call out cut me to the core.
That was the dang, I got to put this on a show, but I have always felt from when I was little that I was always the, those kids who are.
Were you the mama bear in the group?
Yes.
That's
always.
in America, that's the term that gets bandied about is mama bear.
It's funny. It's like I was a small adult. When I was a kid, I was the kid who wasn't.
Yeah.
Baby talking with adults because that's stupid.
Yes. This is the fun part about teaching. I know the kind of kid you're talking about. Like you see them, they're very mature for their age.
Yes.
They're still, this is the thing though, like when you hear mature for your age, if you don't work with children, it doesn't mean that they are adults. It just means like from a caretaking point of view, like they often try to be more adult-like, but with the life experience of a child.
Yes.
So that's fun to watch. But from the inside looking out, what was that like as the mature child in your group of friends?
Well, I actually have done a lot of comparisons between, because I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
With the 80s kids and kids
infamous
today.
For lack of supervision,
yes,
I would say.
I was at the hind end of Gen X, and we were latchkey kids, very much so.
So for people who wouldn't know, what's a latchkey kid?
Oh, yes, that's very true. A lot of people don't know what that is. A latchkey kid is a kid who just has a set of keys to the house, or hey, the house isn't locked at all because, it was safe back then, kind of.
I was a latchkey kid. I had keys to the house. Okay.
And you were more or less allowed to come and go as you please?
I was a responsible kid, but I don't think I was the mom of the group. I was thinking about doing this interview with you. I feel like I'm the kid who has always like put out big sister energy because I will not take care of you at any cost, but I will take care of you. I'm not gonna go the extra mile, which sounds bad, but like, listen, this is a give and take. In my mind, I'm like, this is a give and take. So I will drop you, or I will be mean to you.
Oh wow!
If like you push me too far, but I will help you out. Like that. I think that's the difference there.
So, as a latchkey child, latchkey kid, and there was a whole neighborhood full of other latchkey kids because that's how everybody raised their kids at the time, more or less.
Yeah, go out, keep yourself busy.
Yep. There was a whole gang of us, and we went around and did mischief as children did.
A la Goonies, perhaps.
Oh, totally, absolutely. Goonies is a very, very good depiction of how we used to live. And we'd often get into trouble, or something would happen, and it was always me they would look to
fix it.
I was never the ringleader. Meaning
that's different though, because the ringleader is the one who starts trouble in the group, or who like comes up with the plan of like, what are we gonna do today, guys? We're gonna take over the world. That's the ringleader.
That's the ringleader.
The mama bear is often the one who's like, I'm not sure that's a good idea, and they're like, boo. But then when things go south, you're like, you were right. How do we get out of this? Oh my god.
Yeah. So Timmy fell out of the tree, and now what do we do?
I was actually just gonna ask you, do you have a definite memory of a time during that period where you maybe realized in the moment or realized after it happened that you were the mom, or where that exemplifies this?
Yes, actually, very clear memory. As we were discussing earlier, everyone has core memories that are just there forever. So the neighborhood gang of children included my little brother, because he's 3 years younger than me.
This also, siblings always tag along with you.
Exactly.
I feel like.
Yeah, and a bunch of kids in between. My brother's bestie, his name Steven. If you're listening, that's you. Just saying, call out. Because
he needs to know.
He needs to know.
This is his fault. Okay.
And another kid, his name was Cyrus, I think it was. We're playing.
Steven and Cyrus
were on their bikes, and they were playing chicken.
Oh, no.
And for those of you who don't know what this game is, it's a really silly game.
It's a really dangerous game.
Very
on
dangerous
a bike.
game where you ride your bikes toward each other. It could be any vehicle or just legs. Directly toward each other. And you see who chickens out first and turns out of the head-on collision. This was bicycle, so they're going at some amount of speed, and nobody was a chicken.
But were they wearing, I'm so afraid because this is the 80s, were they wearing helmets?
Of course not.
No. Oh my God.
So I'm
like getting upset
I know,
hearing
the sound of the collision was horrible. I think in my driveway doing something.
I'm so glad your brother's alive. I know.
Oh, no, it was my brother. It was his bestie at the time.
His brother's best friend.
Yes. So.
But your brother wasn't playing.
No, he was
playing
on the
with some other
sidelines
kid.
cheering him on.
Oh, God dang it.
So accessory
to crime.
to
yeah, child crime.
Mm-hmm. But I heard this crash. I was like in my driveway doing something or other. And then there was obviously screaming. And then
screaming, crying, maybe throwing up if they hit their heads really hard.
Something.
Who knows? Yeah.
So I book it down the street to this pile. It was just a pile of bicycle and child.
Bicycles, bodies, not helmets. That's for sure. Not helmets.
There were no helmets because it's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
And I had to untangle I remember doing this. I was untangling the pile of child, mostly.
Yeah, pile of child.
Yes, and like trying to assess how bad this was, because there was a lot of blood.
Do we need to tell mom and dad?
Yes.
For sure. But do we need to call 911?
Do we need an ambulance?
This is all that we know as children is mom and dad and then the hospital. Mm-hmm. So is this a hospital kind of problem?
Yes. Is this how bad is this?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, is it a 15?
Because I'm gonna have to go use the home phone for this. On the wire home phone. And if your parents are home, they're gonna notice.
They're gonna know
for sure.
So thankfully, nobody was seriously injured. One kid's teeth was in the other kid's cheekbone a little bit, but there weren't any fractures. It was just like he needed stitches. And some
stitches
really
seems like the most expected thing from this crash, the most expected consequence I can imagine.
There was some pretty bad bruising and some cuts and stuff, but everybody came out of it all right.
So in that moment when you're like, how old are you? Say like 10 maybe?
Yeah,
or younger.
I would say it was maybe about 9 or 10 years old.
9 or 10. It sounds like a 9 or 10-year-old response. You're sitting there thinking like,
someone's dead.
I have to be the mature adult in this situation as a 10-year-old. What were you thinking? No,
there was my brother was a crybaby when he was little, so he wasn't part of the accident. He was on the side.
It's upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
I would be crying.
He was crying. There's all the kids crying, and of course the kids in the pile are crying, and it was just
the ones with the most reason to cry. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I had to be the kid who held it together so that everyone would calm the F down. So I have always been the one who holds it together, so everyone calms the F down.
And then this was formative into who you are today.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that? So then here's another question. Before we go into like your life as the adult mom of the friend group, do you feel like this was something that was like organic to you, or was this like forced? A little bit of I don't want to say forced, because I feel like that gets too much into like negative ideology, like conditioning, right? But I think that often, speaking as like the big sister, right, there was a similar thing where my parents, very well-meaningly, and to be fair, they did this to everybody, but I was the oldest, so I heard it the longest, told us, like, you have to take care of each other.
Yep.
And then, and I still think this is the right thing to do when you have like an older kid and a younger kid, but telling them like, you have to take care of your younger sibling.
Yeah.
Which I think is the right thing to do, because these kids are going to be in a situation where you don't have eyes on them.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing, like we just discussed, but also they're going to be at school, so they have a better idea of like what's going on at school.
Exactly. There's a whole there's a whole ecosystem in school that parents are completely unaware of.
Right. And so I do still think that's the right thing you should be telling your kids. It's like, hey, you have to look out for your younger siblings, and younger siblings to that extent, like you need to take care of your older siblings also, like you guys need to look out for each other.
Yeah.
So I grew up hearing that because I have 2 younger siblings, at the time 2 younger sisters, so I felt I have a very protective streak myself over my people. But unlike I'll keep it together, I'm like, I'm gonna start a fight, like like that was my instinct. I was like, if you're gonna pick on my baby siblings, I'm gonna bully you. I will beat you up because I'm older than you. Which is not good, but that but the idea of like that protective streak, do you think that was like engendered in you from your parents telling you to take care of children, or was it also a natural thing that bubbled up?
I'm gonna say both, maybe 50-50, because like yourself, I was the oldest child, and I guess it's a meme at this point, like the oldest child versus the middle child versus the youngest child, right?
I also see a lot of memes about like big sister energy, but that's probably my algorithm.
Yeah. So a lot of it was that kind of training. My parents also said, you got to take care of your little brother. Yeah. Because there was a large enough
and 3 years younger.
Yeah, 3
it's
years
like you'll still be hanging out a lot, but also young enough that you can take care of him. You have enough of an age gap to understand what's different between you two.
And during the times, my dad was working, and my mom was sometimes, she had a part-time job, so she was sometimes working. Yeah. And I guess today that would be a crime, but to leave your children at home. Well, but yeah, I remember, making food so that, he would have something to eat, and as well as for myself. It was really simple food like Chef Boyardee's raviolis.
That's what we did. We had microwave food when I was growing up, right? Totally. It was like if my mom has to leave the house, cook this in the microwave, and then when you get to be around like 10 or 11, they're like, you may use the oven only on like this setting with this button and nothing else.
Yeah, similar experiences growing up. Like I did take care of my little brother, and of course, by extension, his friends that were hanging around. So because
you become the oldest person in the room.
Exactly. I'm just the oldest person in the room. So automatically the mom figure, I guess. But it's also in a way natural. Like I really don't
enjoy it.
I enjoy it because I like being able to provide the comfort and safety, feeling of comfort and safety for others. Yeah. I think that's one huge reason why I choose to do the things that I do, right?
Well, I again, like leaning on teaching experience, like I've definitely met kids, like both boys and girls, where you can see like they get a lot of fulfillment from nurturing. Yeah. I remember one girl specifically I had, because I remember her name was I'm going to change it. Her name was Dina, and like she was like born to be an older sister. And I know this because that was her favorite fact to tell everybody, and she loved taking care of like the slower or the younger kids in the group. Like they're not getting their shoes on, like Dina was there. That does happen. And I've had boys like that too, who like to be the example. They like to help out. They like to kind of shepherd those other kids around or take care of them. So I think that it's fair to say that it is also like an area of fulfillment.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Thanksgiving earlier. One of the friends that were there approached me afterwards and said that's going to be the only really nice home cooked meal that she would eat all year. And that was actually really like it was moving. Because,
that's a very sweet thing.
Yeah, and that's actually one reason why I hosted, because Thanksgiving in Taiwan is not celebrated, not really.
Yeah, and it's a North American holiday.
It's a North American holiday, and which is fine. Yeah. So I have a house that's at least a little bit larger than many of my friends' houses, so I have and an oven, so I have the ability to host Thanksgiving, and so might as well, because where are people going to have like a Thanksgiving get together? Right. Yeah, a lot of my expat friends don't have family here. Yeah, and it's the time of year when people miss their family, so
you can gather it together. So then transitioning, what is it like then to be as an adult? Like the mom of your friend groups? I assume that this has been a pattern as well. So I'm in the newest iteration of this pattern, so to speak. But like, have you found that there's much of a difference? Do you still find it fulfilling? What does that often entail for you?
Yeah, I mean, in Boston, it was also a situation where I kind of kept the group together. sometimes arranging activities with people is like herding cats.
Often arranging activities together is like herding cats. Once you get to college and beyond, like as adults, I think there's a lot of listeners who will sympathize with that situation.
Yeah, getting people together to do any activity, even though they enjoy it while they're there and they're happy that it happened, is herding cats. It's like scheduling, and it's just a pain in the butt.
You got to get back to me by this point. I need your RSVP. I'm calling you. If you don't RSVP, you're not coming.
Yes.
I'm not buying you a ticket.
Yep. Exactly, this kind of thing. If it's a potluck, it's like, what dish are you bringing? Why haven't you said it yet?
Tell me what dish it is.
Are you sure you want to do that one? Because it's pretty high responsibility, Jared. Stuff like this. Yeah, I did that in Boston as well. And it was sad because after I moved away, a lot of these people drifted.
Yeah.
About maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, I went back to go visit, and they actually all turned up.
Oh, that's so heartwarming.
It's so heartwarming. They all some of them driving in from states away.
Yeah,
They drove down from Maine to go to Massachusetts in order to come see me, and it's like that was so heartwarming. To have everybody show up at it was like a surprise dinner, and I know, right? I cried.
I would cry. I'm thinking about crying listening to it right now. I might cry on air.
So yeah, it was fulfilling then, and it's fulfilling now. I think I do like the role. It's not like I resent the role at all. It's a really nice role to.
And I guess that's another question to ask. Like, do you still feel like it's a voluntary position? Because I think a lot of people who would listen to this, you do kind of somebody who fills this group. Like, there's a mom or a dad of the group, and then I think different groups have different dynamics. Sometimes it is like a default position where, like, once again, you're the oldest one in the room.
Yeah.
It's always going to be you. Maybe you don't necessarily want this role. And other times, like we were just talking about, it is a role where, like, people choose to take on that kind of like caretaker role because they enjoy doing it. In addition to also just being friends. Like, all of this is also in the sphere of everyone has layers, and of course you still do regular friend stuff, you still make stupid mistakes, you still do everything else, right?
Of course.
So do you feel like it's still a voluntary position for you?
Totally. And it's mostly because what is it? Who is it? Edmund Burke. The only thing for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
That's a very large,
it's
like,
a very grandiose
scope.
Thing. But I read
it starts
when
with
I was
small
like,
things.
It does. It starts with very small things. Now, if I'm in possession of certain resources and knowledge, and I choose not to help.
Yeah.
Meaning I choose just to sit on my butt and do nothing. Then bad stuff happens to other people, and that is it's horrible. Especially if I like certain people, then why am I not volunteering my time or resources?
Yeah.
I should.
I mean, as somebody who runs a literature podcast where I'm always encouraging people to do stuff, I think, like, it is a really large in scope quote, which is funny. But a lot of those things are like, that is how you can actualize those kind of things, right? Where you find something like that shockingly aligns with, like, I really believe in that. Like, I really think that's good. How can I do that in my everyday life?
Yeah, it's just small things in your everyday life.
And also, like, the warmth that comes and the fulfillment that comes from, like, just taking care of others in the Christmas season. I think we especially, like, everybody kind of gets that warm feeling of, like, every holiday special is like, it's more fun to give than it is to receive.
Indeed.
But it's true. Like, it is, like, there's not a lot that feels the same as, like, being able to help somebody out when they really need it and knowing, like, I was able to help you.
Yeah.
Right? Or, like, being able to provide that warm home, that warm dinner, or being able to say, like, hey, I know you're hurting. I can come over.
Yeah.
And I'll be there and I'll sit with you through it. Like, I can't make it better, but I can sit with you.
Exactly. Yeah. I can at least be there in presence.
Oh.
So, yeah, I know.
It's getting me teary again. It's just very nice.
Yeah. Like I said, in the very beginning, I just got back from Thailand, and that trip, that scuba
this
trip,
is what
was
inspired this topic for you.
9 people were very interested in going on this scuba liveaboard.
Which is, you live on a boat, and then while you're living on the boat with these people who are experts in where you're going, you get to go scuba diving every day.
I think my second reverse host was actually about liveaboards because they're so awesome. I love them so much.
It's a cool thing.
It's a very cool thing.
Yeah.
But it is a thing that is actually very scary for people who've never done it before.
Yes.
Because you're not on land. You can't just change your mind and go stay somewhere else, do something else. You're stuck on a boat once you're on this boat.
And the boat, you can't get off. It's in the middle of nowhere. You don't have access to a lot of the resources.
Including cell phone reception.
Yeah.
So it's, so these myself not included, so these 8 people that I'm leading, I was the person who was leading the charge. Basically, I did all the organization. They had a whole slew of questions that they needed answered, and because I had been on the exact same route in the same country before, I was able to do that for them. And it was a little bit like herding cats, getting everybody's money together, and so we could
getting everybody on the boat.
Yes,
once we're on the boat, we'll figure it out.
On the boat.
I'll turn this car around.
So yeah, it was the initial inspiration for, definitely group mom. And these people I didn't know that well. They're like friends of friends, coworkers of coworkers.
Oh, okay.
So I only knew 2, well, not including Chuck, but so 3 people out of the 8 that I was herding. So I'm setting the schedule. Everyone give me the money at this time so I can wire it to the dive company and so on and so forth, and running all these things. And thankfully, generally, I have only been a mom friend to these people who are very grateful for it.
You've never had an ungrateful brat as a friend.
Really,
yeah.
So no ungrateful brats. They were all extremely appreciative.
So it's still fulfilling to this day.
Yeah.
Which is what's important.
Yeah.
So that's good. Oh, well, Michelle, thanks for talking about that. I feel warm and fuzzy inside to have been able to talk to you about this. Anytime. Yeah. Anytime. I as a big sister friend, I love to assume responsibility that I can immediately give up at any point in time when the going gets rough.
It's perfect for the holiday season.
It is. It's very heartwarming. And I hope all the you listeners out there enjoyed hearing about it too, a little bit more about, maybe this will inspire them, anyone out there, you, to give back in your own way, right?
Yeah,
it starts in the small ways that we take care of our friends and our community. But for now, that's all that we have time for today. I was your guest host, Amanda Stevens. And today in the studio, we had
me, Michelle Chiang. I'll be back next Thursday with another episode of Geek Out.
Yeah, your regular host. We'll see you next time.
Bye.